Alrighty, so that's starting to come along. Alright, so now let's put just a little bit of determination into his walk. So we're going to select the body. And when people walk, they don't stay perfectly upright and still, right? That would be very unnatural. So what we're going to do is, with the body selected, I'm going to move forward about 10, just like I have been, and I'm going to tilt him forward about 10 degrees. About 10 degrees forward. Alrighty. And then as he goes neutral, I'm going to move him back about 5 degrees. So not all the way up to straight, but about 5 degrees. Okay, so he's just a little bit more forward. Alright, so he started off at neutral. He's leaning forward. He's not as far forward. Okay, and so we're just going to go ahead and repeat that. So I'm going to just select these guys right here. Not the last one this time, just these two. And holding down my shift key. Okay, move those over 10. Let's see how that's looking. So you see his body's just bobbing a little bit back and forth as he's going. So I can select more of those this time. And once again, holding down my shift key. And selecting even more this time. Shift key. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Not bad, not bad. So now we need to make him move forward a little bit, right? So there's a little bit of a trick to that. First off, remember, once again, these keyframes are all green just because they're all rotate. You can have a combination of frames with rotates, moves, scales all at the same time, and you'll see a stack of color here. Sure, we'll get to that. But for now, what we want to do is we want to select the pelvis, right? And we want to be now on to our move tool because we want to move him forward. And so as we go, moving this forward to 10, we can see that his foot that was here, right here, has now moved back. Okay, so I want to mark this place. Let's see, what would be the easiest way to do that? You know what? Here's my little trick. I'm just going to take a teapot like this, and I'm going to make a little teapot, and I'm going to rotate that up. And that is going to act just like a little arrow or a marker, a little cheat. There it is. Okay, so that's way I know where that foot was. Okay, easy enough. So back to selecting the pelvis here. I'm just going to take and on the 10, move that foot to where it was, right about where the toe is, right there. All right, something like that, right in the middle of the foot. Okay, so you can see right there. Don't worry, that teapot's not going to keep doing that. And so then we move forward. Now look at where this foot is right here. That's where we want to go next. So I'm going to take and move my teapot over just to mark the place, right about at the middle of the foot. And then I'm going to grab my pelvis. Okay, and move this forward. And as this goes all the way back to here, to where on the 30, right? So this foot has moved all the way from being up front to all the way back. I can go ahead and move this guy so he's just going to line up with that teapot. Okay. All right, and we can see this is where this foot is now. So I'm going to move that teapot forward just to mark the spot. And move this forward till that foot is out. Right? The pelvis. Move that over. Okay, see, and he's moving forward. Notice now that these are in red, because these are for movement. They're not for rotation. And also notice maybe that I have to keep doing this manually. I couldn't just shift copy these ones over, because it's just a different thing. Because the keyframe just shows where something is, how something is turned, how big it is at that particular moment in time. And so rotating it was easy, right? Because wherever it was rotating, but locating it, that was a whole different thing, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so forth and so on. Okay, and on the end here, I'm going to go ahead and rotate his body back up to a standing position. I think the easiest thing is I'll just go back to my rotate tool and zero that out. Okay, so let's see how that's starting to look here. All right. Okay, and we'll get rid of the teapot just to make things a little bit clearer. And not too bad. He has a little bit of an ice skatey effect to him. But then again, you know, that's why the other characters have whole systems just designed to help you do just this kind of thing. But we wanted to start off with a blocky just to make it a little bit easy. Let's see if we can't make it just a little bit better. So I'm going to turn this off. Turn that off. Keep my auto key on. And let's go back to the beginning. And let's see here. What could we do? Well, I'm going to make it go up just a little bit. Right, so his toe's not going underneath. And then in the neutral position, I'm going to make him go down just a little bit. And then up a little bit. Okay, and so that's another one of those things that's just going to take a little bit of time to up and neutral is down and up. Alrighty, and I'm going to go ahead and blur this for just a second while I finish this up. Okay, so let's see if we've done any good for ourselves by just making them go up and down a little bit with those steps. And if we go like this, got a little jaunty skip. He's got a little jaunty skip in his step, but not too bad. Let's go to perspective, and we'll see how that's looking. Alright, well that's not really great, but it's not horribly bad. Another thing you could do is you could swing the shoulders back and forth. That would be a good thing. You know, I don't want to get into this too much, but for instance, here, if we were to turn on our auto key again, See, like, okay, so whenever he's got his shoulder going forward, you could go like this, spinning it just a little bit, right? That's what, about 10 degrees, and then back to neutral once again. Oh, so we'll just go like this. Grab that. And then 10 degrees. Okay. So let's see how that looks. Holding down my shift. All right, let's see how that is. Oh yeah. He's not doing too bad. Now he maybe needs to bob his head around a little bit, but all right, like I say, enough's enough. So how I want you to turn this one in is I want you to save it as an AVI this time. Here's how I want you to save it. Make sure that you're in safe frames and make sure that I can see the whole walk sequence. Then you'll go to your render setup. You should be on HDTV and the 1280 by 720. That's fine. But here's where the differences are. Now before you had single, now you're going to be active. And before you could save it just by clicking the little icon after you'd render it, now you have to put it into a file. So just go on down where it says render output. This might be blank for you right now. Just go to files and then just go and find the T drive and then go to art and find your period. And in your period, you're going to see the folder blocky walking. Okay, and that's where we're going to want to save it at. Okay, so save it as your name. So okay, and this is project 3B, blocky walking. Okay, now here's an important thing, the format. Before you were saving it as a JPEG. Now I want you to save it as an AVI. It's the very first one that comes up. And that's your basic video format, AVI. All right, we just say save. And here we go, this MJPEG compressor. Yeah, you want to be sure that you're on that. You're probably on the DV video encoder, and you don't want that. That's probably what you're at by default. You want to be on this MJPEG compressor. So make sure that that is marked. Okay. And just say OK. And then you can just render it. And it's just going to be making all those frames. And so it's got to do a picture for each one. So it's got to do 160 of those pictures. But when it's done, you should have a video that you can play on any device. Okay, it's done rendering now. And so I should be able to just go into that folder, open it up, and see my DVD. See my AVI file. Now, if it doesn't open it up and give you a nice HD TV screen, if it gives you the little screen like an old-fashioned TV, like more square, then the problem is that you've used the wrong codec. But there he is, looking pretty fresh, pretty fly. So there we go. Good luck with yours.